Hello book lovers and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins and today I'm talking to author S.J. Wilke. She writes in two genres, mystery thrillers and young adult fantasy. Today we're going to be talking about her new novel, Bitten. Natalia is dreading the future her parents have chosen for her, a life in a nunnery. She knows her one escape is to get pregnant. However, the man she thinks will do the job proves to be almost the devil himself, and she finds herself on the darker side of life. Hi Sarah, welcome and thank you for coming back on Book Talk Radio Club.
Thank you, good to be here.
So would you like to give Book Talk Radio Club's listeners a brief synopsis of Bitten, please?
Yes, Bitten is about a naive 17-year-old, Natalia, who runs away when she finds out her parents plan on sending her to a nunnery. She thinks she knows her city, but discovers there's a subculture of people she knows as hollows. And she's heard that hollows, that if they bite you, you die. But she gets bitten and she doesn't die. Instead, she becomes part of their community and learns they are Viperians. They're venomous people. So she gets exposed to the evils of both societies, hers and theirs. There's the church that is only out for money, using the daughters of rich families to get money out of them. There's Yuri, the Viperian who bit her, who kills when his society tells him to. There seems to be evil conflicts everywhere she looks. But nestled in between all the bad is the growing love story between Natalia and Yuri. It's her journey of becoming an adult and finding her place in the world.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's pretty unusual these days for parents to want their daughter to go into nunnery. In which era is Bitten set?
Bitten isn't set in any of our eras. It's futuristic, science fiction. It could be another world. It's totally up to the imagination of the reader. Within the city she lives, the upper echelon of society holds the church in high esteem. There are bragging rights if you say you can send a daughter to a nunnery, because not everyone is selected. And Natalia's mother wants those bragging rights. She wants the attention.
So tell me about Natalia's character. Why is she so dead set against going into a nunnery?
Well, Natalia's just finished high school. She's looking forward to college and to finally escape her parents' house. You know, within her society, it's actually illegal for anyone under 18 to be out without a parent. So she's very restricted in what she can do. So first, she's not happy to find college isn't happening, and second, she had a friend go to the nunnery, but then escaped. She learned from her friend that nuns were abused and used as slaves. So, and when her friend was recaptured, she was put to death as punishment. So Natalia, reasonably enough, is terrified of this fate.
Sure. So Natalia finds herself in hell, thinks she's actually escaped from hell. Without giving too much away, of course, who is the man she's chosen to be the father of her baby? Or perhaps I should say, what is he?
Kind of a little preface a little bit. Because Natalia is so terrified of this fate, she is hoping that a clause within the contract of becoming a nun will lead her out, that girls cannot be pregnant or have had children. So she runs away to a place called the Strip, where the sex workers are, and she plans on finding a man and getting pregnant. Natalia didn't really choose Yuri. He was just the first male that approached her. We find out later in the book it was more of the other way around. First, I'd like to also say that Bitten is not a vampire book. It's very different. I like to give that special twist to a book. Mm-hmm. Now, just a little bit about Yuri. Yuri's a Viperian. Viperians are venomous. They bite to inject venom that control people or to install an emotion or to kill. A male Viperian, she learns, has 5 types of venomins. Only 2 of them kill, either fast or slow. As for the how many venoms a Viperian woman has, well, they keep that a secret. And believe it or not, Yuri is an accountant. He's a controller at the main bank of the city, and she's learning that the bank is like the center of control for the Viperian community.
You have an amazing imagination.
Thank you.
It's been a one-off, or will we be hearing more from Natalia?
I actually already have Bitten Again written, which continues to follow Natalia and Yuri. And I'm actually starting a third called Bitten Babe, and that's where Natalia finally has her baby, a Viperian baby.
Wow. So let's move on to your banter series. Let's have a quick chat about that, starting with book 1, Bantering with Murder. Banter is the gun for hire. Tell me more.
Well, Banter is a female gun for hire who meets a cute detective after she does a hit. She starts calling him for chats. She's gotten a little lonely since her work prevents her from socializing much. And so while she's teasing and egging him on, he's trying to find out who she is. As these calls continue, she starts helping him with cases, and when his wife leaves him, she goes and finds her, but this causes her to get tangled up in one of his cases, where they suddenly find themselves working together, trying to find a gunman who's hit not once or twice, but 3 times. And there's also this subtle growing relationship between two very unlikely people, a gun for hire and a police officer.
In book 2 of the Banter series, Bantering with a Gun, Banter used to be a hired gun until she teamed up with Detective Corey Van Bane. After solving a mass murder case and him figuring out who she really is, she's forced into retirement. That's short-lived when his department is stumped with a new killer. Tell me more, it sounds really good.
Well, Banter supposedly is retired from being a gun for hire and is living a peaceful family life with Corey and his 2 sons. But she finds she's being followed. She's actually being stalked. And so the second book is her trying to find out who this stalker is and protecting her new family. At the same time, Corey's department is trying to figure out who's killing these young girls, and Banter is called in to help. It's a very intense book, and the end is a bit of a shocker.
I have to ask this as an extra question. I'm amazed at how... Look, I've written 2 self-help books, and they're not fictional, but it always amazes me how writers have such incredible imaginations to create rich worlds. So you created this world for Natalia, and then you've got this totally other different world with Banter. I think it's amazing. Do you find it easy to switch from one to the other?
Actually, I do.
Oh, I didn't expect that answer.
Yes, it's like I start thinking Banter, and suddenly I'm in her world, and I can write all about her.
Right.
And I switch to Natalia, and suddenly I'm in her world. Each book has their own set of rules and requirements.
Amazing.
Each character is different.
Is there a particular author or book that started you writing novels? I mean, did you have a eureka moment?
I couldn't say who really has influenced me, but with Banter, it's been sort of like the ills of society. Banter is that character who does what anybody would kind of like to do, blow away the bad guys. So she's very fun to write for. When I wrote the first book, I said, okay, that's it. But then my stepdaughter read it and said, no, there must be more. I can see a series. And, of course, that started the ball rolling and the ideas flowing. So the second book is already written, and the third started, and I have ideas for 2 more. As for Bitten, that was a response to all the vampire books. It's like, enough already. So I decided to write something a little different.
It's interesting. Let's go back to talking about Bitten anyway. You write in 2 genres, mystery thrillers and young adult fantasy. I'm assuming Bitten comes under the young adult fantasy genre.
Bitten is kind of like all of the above. There's a lot of mystery and nail-biting thrills. It's a fantasy. It's fast-paced, it's action-packed. Just when you think an issue's resolved, another one surfaces. It was a quick write. I wrote it in under 2 months. And the sequel actually wrote in less than a month. It was just amazing how fast they went.
Do you find your imagination flows easier with the young adult fiction rather than mystery thrillers? I know you put a great deal of research when writing your mystery thrillers, don't you?
I actually have no problem with my imagination in either genre. I keep finding mystery thriller aspects in the young adult fantasy. Apparently I'm good at that. I love the fantasy world because there's no rules. I just write and the impossible happens. However, with the mystery thrillers, I do have to do more research to be a little more realistic. I was recently asked by someone after they read the Banter books if I had police training. And I said, no, the realism is through my research.
Right. So who is your target audience for Bitten? Who do you think will enjoy the book?
Someone who likes to step away from their own world and step into someone else's world, the world of Viperians. As you read, you're totally learning about the Viperian culture, their community. you're feeling a part of the journey that Natalia is taking as she learns everything. And I've even had people say they fall in love with Yuri.
What's next on the writing front?
Well, Bitten Babe, the third Bitten book, and Bantering with a Dandy, the third Banter book.
Where can Book Talk Radio listeners purchase Bitten and, of course, your other books?
The easiest way is to go to my website, which is www.iamsarda.com. You know, you can always check Amazon for both the hard copy and an ebook, and it's on Apple and a lot more places.
That's wonderful. All right, well, thank you. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club when you publish your next book. I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, bye now.